Good morning and welcome to Member Focus Monday, our first Member Focus Monday of 2023. Happy New Year, everyone. We're happy to have you here today. And we are welcoming our 2023 Chair of the Board, Cathy Treviño. Welcome to the program, Cathy.
Thank you so much, Christina, and thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. Thank you for being our first guest of the year. We're excited to chat with you, hear about some of your goals for this year as chair, and also maybe some challenges and advice you have for our members as we get into the new year. Before we do that, though, we'd like to hear a little bit about you. Just if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you do.
Sure. Thank you. Well, I'm Cathy Treviño, and I'm 2023. I'm chair for HAR. I'm also the managing broker for SIDE for Texas. So I, still working and doing what I need to do on a regular basis when it comes to my career. But I've been in the industry now 25 years, just over 25 years, and I've serviced actually as an active agent for many years, had my own company, got purchased and got into management. Started in management for since then and just stayed in management as a non-competing manager, and then have worked with several big box brokerages in that time. And now I'm working with Side. So kind of, just a real overview of who I am and where I've been.
Yeah, well, thank you. So you've been involved with HAR, you said in the business over 25 years. But as a volunteer, you've been very involved with HAR over the years. What made you decide to run for the board of directors and then subsequently the executive committee?
Wow. So yes, I started in volunteer and Management Central actually back in 2007 with Rita, and that was I think my first committee involvement, and just loved it. I think it's so important to get back to the real estate community. But then, started getting asked here and there in different organizations throughout the community. So with WCR and within our local chapter, there in Lake Houston. I started there as a secretary. I just, came in, actually did came in to join and start, attend one of their meetings, and lo and behold, they're holding their committee involvement, and I applied, and they're like, "Yeah, you could be the secretary," and I'm like, "Oh, great!" So I just dove right in, which was the best, and was able to service our community there in Lake Houston for many years. And then, you just get asked. And I think it's so very important to really give back to your real estate community. And then in 2012, I do believe, I actually got a phone call from Vicki Fullerton, who was the chair right around that time. I don't know if I think she was the chair. And she asked me to run for the board. I had never really decided, even thought about running for the board, just actively, doing what I thought I needed to be doing within my community and servicing realtors. And it's just amazing how other leaders really notice what you're doing and ask for you to step up at a greater level. And so I did. I ran unopposed, so I got on. And that was the best thing that I could have done. I've learned so much by being on the board. I served 2 terms at that time and then got rolled off, and then decided to get back on. And once I was on, I had a lot of encouragement from other leaders within our industry, and encouraged me to run for executive committee. And of course, my husband was one of the biggest. He's always been my biggest supporter. I think a lot of times when we look at ourselves and what we're doing, a lot of times we just think, okay, I'm just working. It's just stuff that we do.
Mhm.
What we're doing, we're being noticed by other people and a lot of things that we do. And it's important to know that what you do is important, and that other people are noticing, but that people appreciate what you're doing.
Mhm.
And sometimes we forget that. Sometimes we just think, oh, we're just, we're doing it because it's fun, or we love it, and we
Mhm.
don't realize that there's a lot of people that truly appreciate what you're doing. People have to step up, and these things just need to get done, whether it's a committee within your church or whatever it may be. If there's a calling, I think
Mhm.
it's important for you to step up and just be, take the call.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I did. I didn't believe in myself, I guess you could say, because I was like, there's no way I could be on the executive committee, and my husband actually was like, you can do this, and I'm like, gosh,
Mhm.
I don't know if I could do it, because it is a big time commitment. And I think a lot of times people think, there's no way I can do it. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I don't have, there's all these things. You got to work, and it's volunteer,
Mhm.
So we have to really, really think about it, because when you do something, and I know that's something that I always think of, is when I do something, I do it with my whole heart, and it's a passion, and you jump in and you're full force. And so it's a commitment. And
Mhm.
when you when I decided to join the executive committee, it was several years commitment. And so I think a lot of time is when you really have to look at things as timing. And for me, this was the right timing. It was the right timing. And I was able to do it. And lo and behold, I won. I didn't think I was going to win, and I did. And here we are. So
Mhm.
very excited that this is the year. I can't believe it's here, but I'm very excited.
Well, we thank you for your many years of volunteerism and leadership within our organization. Several people are thanking you in the comments right now for your leadership. So we appreciate you taking those calls and stepping up. Let's talk a little bit about the market. As of some of the latest statistics, we've seen sales have started trending down. There's a lack of inventory and affordable options for housing. So, what do you anticipate this year as far as the market is concerned?
I think we're going to see the first quarter. I think we're going to see a continuation of what we saw this last quarter. And we've already started to see a little dip in the market. Um, Interest rates are higher than what we anticipated this same time last year, of course. I
Mhm.
mean, we're doubling what we've seen the beginning part of this year, this same time last year. But I do think that interest rates will start to level. At least that's what we're hearing. Right now, they're hovering right around the sixes. And so I think that that's where they're going to kind of stay. But it is something we definitely need to stay and pay attention to.
Okay.
Um, I think that one of the things that we're going to also see, and is, properties staying on the market just a little bit longer, which will give us a little bit more inventory. We're sitting at 2.9 months of inventory already, and which is, one of the highest months of inventory that we've had in many, many months.
Mhm.
And that's also an opportunity for buyers, though. So it really puts us in an opportunity. Some of the things that we may feel as their detriments or opportunities, and that's the thing that we have to turn around and look at it, and how can we use that to our benefit.
Mhm.
And I think that buyers right now have a lot more opportunity, more homes on the market. So it's a great time to buy still.
Okay, wonderful. So it seems that there's always challenges within the industry, and sometimes it might be difficult for members to determine what should I really be focusing on right now. So, what are some challenges that you see within the industry right now that you think our members should be paying attention to?
Well, I think right now I mean, the last 2 years were, crazy years. I mean,
Hmm.
they were supernatural, I guess you could say. With the pandemic and all, no one really knew what was going to happen. But the market it was very, very good market. And for agents that actually got into the market in the last 2 years, all they know is a hypermarket. And I think that this year is going to be a little bit more challenging than the previous 2 years that we've seen. And so I do believe that agents are going to need to really, get back to work. They're going to have to learn, how to work in this type of industry. For the agents that have been in the industry for a while, 10 years or longer, and they've seen the market ups and downs and things. I think that they'll be able to really maneuver through this a little bit more easier. But for the
Hmm.
agents that have just gotten in and this is all they know, I think this is something that where brokers are going to have to really take advantage of making sure that they're educating their agents.
Hmm.
Um, right now, and I've always thought that education is key to your industry and to your career. So I do believe that it's the time where agents are going to have to basically put their boots on and get to work. Get out and do open houses and
Hmm.
maybe look at their farming, look at their social media, really have a market plan and a strategy that's going to really help them to be able to get through this market, because it's not going to be as easy as it was the last 2 years.
Okay, thank you. That's great advice. And we're going to get some more advice from you in a little bit too. But are there any other challenges you foresee affecting realtors in 2023?
One of the things that I didn't mention, but I think one of the challenges that we're gonna be up against is that sellers are going to be staying in their homes longer, because they got interest rates at, such low interest rates that they're not going to want to let go of that. And unfortunately, that's something that we're just going to have to, see how we're going to have to go through that, because, sellers are not going to want to sell. So we're not, that's just one of the things. But we're also going to be looking at pricing affordability for buyers. Affordability right now is a lot tougher than it was the same time last year, with interest rates doubled basically where they were this time last year. The prices of the homes have actually increased as much too, and so the buyer power is not as strong as what they had a year earlier. So those are the two things when it comes to sellers and for buyers, that I think that we have to really watch. And of course, inflation is one of those things that we're always having to watch. Consumer spending. These are all things that are going to be affecting our market throughout the year. So we really need to pay attention to these type of things.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. For those of you that are tuning in, if you have questions for Cathy, type them into the comments and we will get to as many of those as we can. So Cathy, I really am curious to hear, what are your goals as HAR Chair of the Board for 2023? What do you want to accomplish this year?
Because of the market, the way it is, we've really been thinking about this. I think this is the time where we really need to make sure that the consumer knows the realtor value. It's so very important. We're up against a lot of things right now, and we as realtors need to make sure that the consumer know what we do and all our hard work behind the scenes. We're so good at being able to promote, hey, we got, we sold this much and we did this and this deal closed, but we don't really share with our clients, how we got there. How did we get that deal closed? They don't know that, you had to go and scrub toilets and clean out the house and do all these things that we do on the background that no one really knows. And, they think that, our job is easy and all we do is just write up the contract and show up at closing and it's all easy. And it's not, because we make it look so easy. And so I think that, as we share, I think that's important to make sure that we share with our clients what all we do, and having a checklist and making sure that they know, like, these are the steps that we go through with every single client, whether it's a buyer or a seller, and what we do to put your home on the market, or what we do to get your buyer qualified, and showing property and knowing the market and educating them. All of those things are just so important. But I think that we just kind of, I don't know why, we just don't have the tendency to really share that part of the background of what we do. And it's so very important to make sure that people know that we're valuable and we're needed. And this is the time that we're more so needed than any time, because consumers need to be educated. With the market changing the way it is, I think this is the time that we need to make sure that we're educating both buyers and sellers on the market, and making sure that you're presenting yourself as the expert in your area. And if you do those things, you'll definitely continue to grow your business, and people will understand what you truly do.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And you're right, realtors fight fires every day, and they do it in silence. So sometimes they just need that reminder that nobody's going to know what you did if you don't talk about it. So that's so true. Lana, just said, thank you, great advice, appreciated. So thank you for that. If anyone has questions for Cathy, go ahead and type those in, and we'll get to as many of those as we can. So Cathy, we've talked a little bit about your background. You've been an agent, a manager, a broker, so you can relate to perspectives on all levels of the industry. So, what is your advice for agents, managers, brokers as they face a changing market, many of whom might be facing a changing market for the first time?
Yeah, I think the main thing is don't get discouraged. I mean, I know sometimes it sounds like, oh, the sky is falling and things are, just not so, easy, but there's always a way. And I think that the main thing is education, like I mentioned earlier, is so very important. Find your niche, whatever that may be, and get a designation. Learn something that you maybe have been interested in. That take the time to really educate yourself to be better in whatever it is that you're wanting to go after. So maybe if you're a golf expert, and you live in a golf community, maybe you need to learn a little bit more about that. Or if you work more with first time home buyers, or if you're more of a listing agent, there's so many things that we do, and doesn't mean that you have to be a professional at everything, but you can be the professional at whatever it is and maybe in your community, and really really focus on that to make sure that you are the expert, and take the time to really get up every morning, get dressed. I think that's very hard right now because we're so used to being in our yoga pants and t-shirt, whatever it may be. And even though it's comfortable, and yes, but I think getting back to the office, getting back to what you did before the industry changed and before the pandemic, are key to really getting back to normal, getting back to normal, I guess you could
Mm-hmm.
say, or the new normal. But I've always believed in getting up and getting dressed is the first. Having a goal. This is a time of year where we are all looked at actually, if you don't have your goals by now, you're probably a little bit behind, but that's okay. It's still January, and so we can work on that. But have a goal. Make sure you know where you're going. If you don't have a goal and you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. And so if you're wanting to be a top producer in your area, then make sure you know your area better than anyone else, better than your competition, and be that expert. Get up and look at the statistics and what's selling, what's new on the market, what's sold, all of those things, so that when you get asked the question of how's the market, you're not just going to be able to answer, oh, it's okay, it's a little slow. You should be able to really quote,
Mm-hmm.
hey, the market is up. This is how many homes are sold on the market. This that sold last week or last month, and really know the details of your area so that people can really understand and say, wow, this person really knows the area. That's who I want to use to sell my home or purchase a
Mm-hmm.
home with.
Absolutely. We just had a couple comments that came in. Tiffany Markowski Martinez said, yes, great advice. Stefan Cardo said, make your bed with a crying, laughing emoji. But it's true. It's all about that mindset, as you were saying. So wonderful. So, Cathy, you've shared a lot of great information, some great advice. I would also want to mention to our members that a lot of the things Cathy was discussing, the prospecting, the marketing, there's so many classes that HAR offers that can help you with that. So look no further, har.com/education. Check out those classes that are available to you, many of which are relatively inexpensive or free, some of them. So take a look at some of those classes. Cathy, is there anything else that you want to share with our members today?
I mean, at first, I just want to say thank y'all for tuning in today. It's an honor to be the chair, and if I ever have any questions or anything, you're always welcome to reach out to me at any time. But just like Christina was saying, HAR has some amazing tools. Get in there and learn some new tools. If you don't have every day, or every week when you wake up, on the Monday, say, okay, what's my goal for this week? If you don't know, if you don't have one, go to HAR and say, hey, what kind of classes are they having this week?
Mm-hmm.
Like Christina said, there's a lot of them that are free, so you can hop onto any of those online. One of the things that I love with HAR is Realtor Launch. And so I know that, and I don't know, I'm assuming they're still having the Realtor Launch,
Mm-hmm.
but they
Mm-hmm.
offer this Realtor Launch program. And this is something not only for new agents, but for all agents. And it's a great course that you can take, and it really helps you relaunch your career. And so if you're looking for a class that really can help you, learn a little bit more about HAR tools, but also know, what I need to do to launch my career, I think Realtor Launch is a perfect one for pretty much any agent. I took it probably 5 times, and every single time I took it, because I was evaluating the course, and we used to use it as one of our training tools for our company. And every time I took it, I learned something different every single time. And I'm thinking, wow, this is amazing. But there's always new things that are rolling out. HAR is always looking at new ways to better our membership and educate our agents and the consumer. So make sure you take the time to go in there. I guarantee you that you will find something that you did not know. The other thing that I encourage you and I challenge you this year to do is read your little messages that you get on HAR. Every time you log into the MLS, you get some pop-ups that come up. And there's also there's always great information in there, but we're always in the rush and we're like, okay, click, 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 I'll read it later or whatever it may be. And we don't read it. Take the time to read it, because you will be informed of upcoming events that are coming up, different tools and changes that are happening within the MLS and our systems. So this is a great way for you to stay up to date on what's happening. And then the other thing I want to say is, I guess later this week, we have YPN is offering the economic forecast, and that's a webinar this year. So I do encourage everyone to attend. I think this will be a great opportunity for everyone to be able to learn a little bit more about the economy and what's expected, and to be able to answer some of those questions that you may get from your clients.
That's wonderful. So much great advice. Thank you, Cathy. We had a couple comments come in that I wanted to share. Syed just said, congratulations, Cathy Treviño. You're such a down-to-earth person. So excited for your amazing leadership role. Delora Wilkinson said, having served as HAR president in 1986 with a horrible market, good agents survived and rewards have been tremendous. I love this industry. So some great advice there. We also had Rita Blevins, who you mentioned earlier. She said, Realtor Launch is still available. They're also kicking off a new business management program in March. Rita will actually be coming on this program later this month, so you guys stay tuned for that. And then Teresa Murphy just added a $50 off code in the comments, Launch 2023, and you'll save $50 on Realtor Launch. So some great stuff there.
Good stuff.
Excellent. I'm sorry?
Everybody wants to save, so that's
everybody wants to save, exactly. Well, again, Cathy, thank you so much for your time, your advice, and of course your leadership. We truly appreciate everything that you do and will continue to do for HAR and its membership.
Thank you so much for having me today. It was a pleasure, and I look forward to serving.
Absolutely. And thank you for kicking off the new year with us. Again, Happy New Year to everyone. We will not have a Member Focus Monday next week, as it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and we will be closed. HAR is closed that day, but we will be back in 2 weeks. So we will see you then on January 23rd at 9 a.m. Have a great rest of your week, everyone. Bye-bye.